So there is a very interesting situation going on at the moment in WWE, and of course at any time this could get justified or explained, so you'll have to forgive me if I have been too late. But on the recent episode of SmackDown, Cody Rhodes did come out and he had a chat with Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis said, hey, Codes, be damned with #1 contenderships and all of that. I have decided who your next opponent for the WWE title is going to be out in Saudi Arabia. And it's flipping Logan Paul. Now, I am still totally flabbergasted by this, and I do appreciate the reaction has been the same by everyone going, well, I didn't expect him to do that. Like that clip from The Simpsons when Homer tells his family he's going to join clown college. But the real twist to this is not the fact that Cody is taking on Logan Paul, because I can kind of understand this. Cody's probably like, well, I'd like to have a go around with him, given that Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and others have too. But it's the fact that at the moment it is being pitched as champion versus champion, title versus title, all winner takes all. I mean, Cody said this on Twitter the other day. What the flub am I meant to make of that? The reason it gets so interesting is because I don't think you need to take the title off Logan Paul at the moment. You absolutely do not need to take the title off Cody Rhodes, because it would mean Logan Paul would become the WWE champion. Now, focus on his in-ring exploits. I think Logan is an incredibly talented wrestler, but no way in the middle of 2024 can he be winning the WWE championship from Cody Rhodes, because I'm going to have to stare out the window and reconsider my whole life. That's a very selfish opinion of mine, but I can only see the world through the view of my own eyes, so leave me be and let me do it. Which of course means the other situation here is that Cody Rhodes would become the US champion and the WWE champion, and you can go online and see this kind of reaction right now with people going, well, we can't do that. We're turning Cody into Roman Reigns circa 2016. We are giving him too much and it's a pile of poppycock. Now, I actually think it's the vocal minority, and Cody has such a fan following and he's selling so many merchandise. I actually think this will do really well for him, and he can completely cement himself as the top guy. And of course, it actually does tie into the tribal chief, because what was his deal? Breaking records and holding that title for 1,316 days. And he too had 2 championships, so you can't do that again, because we need to make sure we are defending these world titles after he only defended like 11 times in 2023. But if Cody is the WWE champion and he's the US champion, and we actually let him hold these belts for a while, and he picks and chooses which one he's going to defend, or maybe every single defense is going to have both on the line, then all of a sudden you are telling a similar tale, and you're also trying to get this image across as, well, you thought Roman was good, well, this guy's even better. And that always has to be the way. Steve Austin had to be pitched as bigger than Hulk Hogan. John Cena had to be pitched bigger than Steve Austin, and Roman Reigns was meant to be bigger than John Cena, but it didn't even work out. And again, you can argue every single name that just come out of my mouth, but is that the plan when you do pull the trigger? You bet you tush. Now, the other way we can go with this, and one that I'm not totally adverse to, which did surprise me when I started to think about it, is that Cody wins the United States Championship and he kind of gobbles it up into the WWE title, meaning there would only be one secondary championship on both Raw and SmackDown, and that would be the IC belt. Now, I know we've just done the draft, which means Sami Zayn at the moment is stuck to Raw, because of course Logan Paul went to SmackDown. But if you did do this, you could come up with some kind of daft story when someone goes, well, I'm sorry, Sami, you are now a traveling champion. And I actually think you have way more worth in just having one belt like that, because it means when someone does win, you can sing it from the rafters more, as opposed to someone else then winning another one. That's just the way it works. But in no way do I think this is going to happen, because if WWE aren't going to do it with their world championships, I somehow doubt they're going to do it with their secondary titles, especially because down in NXT, they are about to introduce the North American Women's Championship, which I'm all for, by the way. They should probably have a secondary title for the women on the main roster too, but it would seem very strange to me to be adding a belt there and then taking one away here, which does make me scratch my bald head and question why. And also gets me a little bit worried, because there is a secret option 3 that we haven't discussed that we're going to get into now. What if we get to the King and Queen of the Ring show in Saudi Arabia, and our main event is Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes, and the reason we do not see these belts come together is because we are going to have a shenanigan finish, which means Cody doesn't actually beat Logan Paul for real, and I'm not sure that's a world I want to live in. Unless. If WWE has finally decided who Cody's first proper opponent is going to be, and the way you are going to do that is they're going to storm out during this match and beat him up, technically giving Logan Paul the loss but Cody Rhodes the win via a DQ, but keeping the belts on the relevant people, then I think that is totally okay. Because again, we go back to the criticism board. People are like, oh, I can't believe we're just doing an AJ Styles match, because that's only going to be a one and done. Now, it was a really smart thing to do coming off WrestleMania when you do have a brand new champion, because that fight absolutely ruled, but also we'd never seen it it before, so it did have novelty, and in classic wrestling fashion, you could sell it as a gimmick. So let's just take Gunther randomly, and let's say that Gunther wins the King of the Ring, although you could actually do this if he loses the King of the Ring as well. He does do that. He's so happy. Oh my gosh, I told you I was going to come back from the Intercontinental title loss, and because we want to establish him as a super duper heel, he comes out, he whips Cody Rhodes' ass, and you tell the story however you want to tell it on Raw. And again, you can flip that too. He's so mad he wasn't able to win the King of the Ring, even though it certainly does sound like whoever wins those tournaments is going to be able to call their shot on what title they want to be victorious in. Gunther could be like, well, I don't want to wait for that now, because this jabron over here beat me, so I'm just going to go out, I'm going to beat up Cody Rhodes and say geese title shot. Now, you know, if you watch any of my content, I find this a bit laborious, but sometimes the destination is far more important than the journey, and I need Cody versus Gunther. And in many ways, I need that to be the Cody versus Roman of 2024 and 2025. I want them to have a trilogy of matches. I say this a bit quietly. When they have the first one, I think Gunther should win, because nobody will see it coming. That's right. So there may actually be a grand plan here, and of course Triple H's favourite saying is just let it play out, man, which we do have to do. But if we are just doing this for the sake of doing it, I think that is really dumb, because where are you going to end up? Absolutely nowhere. You're not going to take the belt off Logan Paul, you're not going to take the belt off Cody Rhodes, and you are just going to screw over your audience, which is always a risk when you do title versus title. Do you remember that Raw after WrestleMania 36, when we pretended that we were going to do Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston, even though they'd only just won their respective championship, and we acted like we were going to mold the belts together? I was so excited, because again, I'm a huge proponent of that, and then a bunch of people got involved, and we didn't do it, and I stood off into the distance going, who was this for? You got me excited for something that I never thought was going to happen anyway, and then you took it away from me. You may as well have come around and slapped me around the face and told me I was adopted. I could have dealt with that better. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I've said it now, there's no going back. Also, what is the plan for Logan Paul if he does lose his championship to Cody Rhodes? Like, in the hierarchy of things, Cody is way more important than Logan, because again, he's right at the tippity top. But he's just gonna, what, have a random feud with someone else? What about all the teasing with Jey Uso? He was getting into it with Logan Paul recently, and way back at the end of last year, we even did wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that maybe this could go to LA Knight. I just think right now, given that Logan Paul survived Randy Orton and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, that beating him for that belt could help somebody else, and you could do it with a Bron Breakker, or hey, given that SummerSlam is in Logan Paul's hometown, you could even do it with a Randy Orton, even though Randy Orton is focused on the bloodline right now. Again, in Logan Paul's hometown, doing Randy Orton, one of the best of all time, an absolute Hall of Famer, who is still performing, taking on social media star and podcaster, as some people like to call him, Logan Paul. That is one of those matches where I will just look around going, how did we get here? And we can never go back. Because we've done it now, we've opened Pandora's box, whatever inside is going to get you. I want to make it very clear I love Cody Rhodes, and if you want to give him the IC belt, the women's belt, the US belt, and that North American belt we just talked about, I've got no problem with this, because I don't think we're going to turn the audience at all. And in fact, I think people love him so much that if he did start to dominate to that degree, as long as we're telling a good story that is compelling and has some depth to it, people are just going to adore him even more. Because do you know what people have been saying since he came back at WrestleMania? Oh, he's just going to be Stardust. Oh, everyone's going to turn on him. Oh, he's going to have to go heel. Well, here I am in April 2024, and I'm still waiting for this, and it hasn't happened yet. I don't think it's going to turn on a dime. And in fact, I think WWE would be able to see this coming a mile away. And if that does happen, you just change tact. That's the time to change the story, not rip up the script 1 hour before Raw. It's when you go, oh, we've made a bit of a mistake here. Let's rectify it. Like we did with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. They were meant to be heels. Nobody was booing them, so we made them faces. Now, that ain't the best example, because we then continued to do nothing with them. And now I think Bobby Lashley is injured, but again, at least we know the new regime will listen. So why not throw a bunch of ideas at the wall and see what happens? Ultimately, I know when it was Logan Paul that came out to challenge Cody Rhodes, I found this absolutely fascinating. And if I wasn't going to watch that pay-per-view premium live event before, I probably would just sort of peek my head in now, because I don't know what WWE is going to do. And again, maybe they did think that. Obviously, the whole thing is going to be situated, or focused, I should say, on the King of the Ring. So what do we do for our main event? Well, let's just give another one-time matchup where you think you can predict the winner, but it's so out of left field, and it's so random, and it's so lacking a build, which you could have done with Logan Paul. He's a big enough star that WWE must have come up with a plan. Now, if you had said this to me 3 years ago, I'd like, you're giving them too much faith, but I think they have restored that faith over the last 2 years, especially, even more so, because Cody Rhodes did win at WrestleMania 40, and I said it then, and I'll say it now. If he hadn't have done, I retroactively would have gone WrestleMania 39 result was absolute pants, but it wasn't, because we did sort this out 12 months later. So now I believe I'm going to do what Paul Levesque always wants us to do. I'm going to sit back in my weird hotel chair, and I'm going to let it play out. If I don't like it, I moan on Twitter, and if I do like it, I'll do the dance of joy. But hey, if wrestling is all about intrigue and getting me wound up in the thing, they absolutely have done it. But more importantly, I need to know, what do you think? How is WWE going to end Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes in a couple of weeks? And I'll put this caveat on it too. If you get it exactly right, and I mean letter to letter, word to word, I'll keep an eye on those comments and I will give you a prize. That's how crazy I do think it's going to be. We shall wait and see. Also, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the notification bell so you know other videos are going live, and click the video on the YouTube screen. YouTube loves that the most. Otherwise, it is GorillaMind.com/Simon. These are the fitness supplements I use, especially when I'm out of America right now. I literally have some Gorilla mode. Look at me right now. Hello, Gorilla. Shouldn't have done that. Patreon.com/Simon if you want to support me with money. Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter. It's Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo. Loving doing those at the moment. I would give you any kind of personalized video you do want. And please do pick up a t-shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller, and the same with Samson Athletics. I am home in 7 days. I am recording this. So like I say, content as normal, whatever you want to call it, will resume soon, but thank you for sticking by me. Thankfully, we are also getting more content done now as I do get to the end of this thing. It's been a whirlwind, and I'll make a video about that too. And if you did come out and say nice words, I just want to say thank you very much. We have another show tonight in Baltimore. Why the flub am I in Baltimore? I will see you soon.